So, I said I was going to have a name for this thing by now. I lied. I just haven't been paying attention to the name to this yet. I don't know. 5 dudes and a microphone, there we go. I don't know, welcome, it's the movie thing for people who like movies and talk movies.
Just call it the movie thing.
It really is just kind of the movie thing. It's the movie thing podcast. There we go, we got a name for it, because I think I even have it as... No, I don't think I have a movie thing on the site. It would be awesome, though. I think I'm going to change it now to movie thing. Welcome! Today, well, of course it's always me, because you'll never hear one of these recordings without me, so I'm not even going to introduce myself. But we got Nick!
Hey.
And then Nicky G.
Hello.
Yes. Yeah. We got Nick squared. Woo!
Double trouble.
Yeah, I know. It's the Double Mint twins. Yeah, no. Yeah, we just if you listen to the bloody screen, then you know what's going on about just having 3 podcasts, movie, video game, comic. And honestly, I'm still trying to figure out how we're going to do the comic one without just talking about movies again. So, anyways, we just got out of the theater. Literally just got out of the theater and now starting to record. So, what we're first going to do before we talk about anything else is, since all 3 of us have seen World War Z, we will do a review for World War Z. Where do you guys want to start except for this movie actually calls them fucking zombies?
Yeah, I think the only other movie I've seen do that was Shaun of the Dead.
And Shaun of the Dead's a parody of zombie films. So, this one being a serious zombie film, holy shit. You guys actually call them zombies, not infected, not the shadows, not whatever stupid walkers. They're zombies. They acknowledge that they're zombies, and they even acknowledge in the movie that when people say, yeah, they're zombies, everyone's like, wait, you're shitting me, huh? Come on!
Well, I will say, of all the zombie scenarios I've seen, this one seems most likely.
Oh, yeah.
Just because they're fast, the infection spreads almost instantly.
Mm-hmm.
And, even as they show in the movie, even the military doesn't know what to do. They're panicking too.
I agree with that. I still have heard one wise old man once say, I don't care how fast your zombies are, I don't care what they can do, they still cannot do shit to a tank. How are we not stopping them with just rolling tanks over them? We don't need to shoot them, we just need to go backwards and forwards. With maybe speakers on them going, dun, 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 and they all run to you.
I know who that old wise man is.
I have no idea who that wise man could be, because I don't want to advertise someone else's shit on ours. So, yeah. But basically...
I mean, as they showed in that, you come into an endless horde, and it's kind of the thing they show in, like, the Zack Snyder Dawn of the Dead.
Uh-huh.
They have those huge tanked out buses with snowplows on the front, and even then they can barely move because there's just so many.
Those buses cannot crush cars, though. A tank can go over a car. There's no way. Oh, of course you put him to sleep. There's no way he's not. I don't know what else to do unless we have to go downstairs. Hold on.
Still, the tank's going to run over the initial ones, but while it's doing... Because it's not going to be able to keep up full speed, obviously.
Oh, of course not.
But while it's doing that, the millions of other zombies are just going to run towards it, climb on top of it, and then they're just going to pound on the door till it breaks open.
That's what I do respect about this, and you said this right after the theater, Nick, of... They're not like traditional zombies that you see in any other film. These things are like liquid on how they move.
You see them try to run around the corner. They don't just whip around the corner. They slam to the nearest wall and then go.
Yeah. Oh, it's so awesome. Even Brad Pitt makes that thing.
Yeah, water around a rock.
Yeah. Well, honestly, were you both worried when you saw the rating for this film?
Yes. Because even my mom heard on the radio that the people on the radio went to go see it, and they said it was just, stupidly retarded.
Really?
Yeah.
I disagree. I have been disagreeing with everybody on the reviews lately. Everyone's like, a lot of people don't like Man of Steel, a lot of people don't like The Purge, a lot of people apparently don't like this.
No, I didn't care for The Purge, but...
I thought it was a good movie. Okay.
Man of Steel I thought was great, and this movie I think was great, but I also never read the book. So.
I never read the... Have you read the book, Nick? Nicky
Nope.
G? Okay. Yeah, I have to really specify who I'm talking to now. Yeah. I never read the book either, so yeah, I had a kind of a fresh mind going into it. What I do love, though, is in this movie, Brad Pitt's not, he's not holed into a mall. He's not holed up anywhere. He's not in one area.
Himself. He's moving.
Yeah, he's moving, and he made an excellent point about that. Every zombie film we've seen where they stay put, they get slaughtered. So this one, granted, everyone he meets basically dies, almost everybody.
Yeah.
But it just turns into this, he's actually going around the world, and we get to see how the world is dealing with, this. Israel builds a giant wall. North Korea pulls out the teeth of every single human being in their area to make sure it doesn't spread, which I don't really know how well that would work. But
I'm pretty sure it's already done.
I know. I think they already did that. But... Alright, we'll just go down the list right now, because we're talking, what did you think of the movie, Nikki G?
Well, I wasn't, worried about the rating. I was kind of surprised, because I didn't realize it was going to be PG-13, until I heard about it. I was like, okay, I don't really mind, because, it's I've seen tons of zombie movies with a bunch of gore and, TV shows nowadays. So it's not so it's somewhat of a chance, but it wasn't, a huge... overwhelming one. I actually did like the movie. Because, it really was just different. It's kind of like you said, you weren't held up somewhere. And it's just... it's... Besides the premise of just these zombies being freaking fast and... do you guys think they were, kind of overly... Well, not overly strong, but, super kind of strong? Stronger than a regular human?
I would just say that they didn't have the restraints that humans do. They didn't hold back because they didn't feel any pain.
There was one thing I almost don't want to classify these things as zombies. And it's the fact that they don't actually eat humans. They take a bite and they leave.
But that person still dies.
Person still dies.
They're still undead.
They are undead, but they're just...
Like they said, they're not... It's not so much that they feel the need to feed in this one, it's just the virus looking for healthy hosts.
That's what I think it is. This is literally a virus movie. These are infected. They're not like brains, trying to rip up you. They just want to spread. That's all they do. It's just, they just spread.
Yeah, it's not like the other movies where, they've been dwindled down to their most basic instincts to feed.
Mm.
And that's all. But in this one, it's basically just a bunch of hosts trying to spread the infection.
You know what this kind of reminds me of? These zombies. For people who maybe have, we've probably all seen the trailers because they bombard you at the theater with them. But Left 4 Dead, the hunters, how they're jumping. These ones always jumped. They always jumped. They were nimble. They were kind of. They remind me a lot of those.
I'd say. More, I see where you're going, but even just the normal zombies in Left 4 Dead and the C-virus zombies from Resident Evil 6.
Alright.
Because those ones jumped, they'd be walking around, and if they heard something, they'd come running after you.
Oh, I know, I love that. Just any noise at all, they just sprint. Nick, what'd you think of the movie?
I really enjoyed it. It wasn't A-list movie. It wasn't like a top-notch movie, but it was theater-worthy. I'd say it was even worth the extra $2 to see it in 3D. Not that the 3D was anything special, but I wasn't upset that I paid that extra $2.
I enjoyed this movie, and I personally, off the top of my head, after just seeing it, I can't think of many flaws. They have the one major, the end plot thing. I'm thinking, I was like, well, that's good and all.
It doesn't really help us.
Yeah, that doesn't really help us.
But like they said, as they said, the war's not over. The war is just beginning.
Oh,
he just gave them a way to fight back.
Yeah, and I love that. And I love how this is setting up for a legitimate sequel where we're fighting. We might see the first zombie film where we take it back to the zombies. Where we're like, oh, you guys thought you were tough shit in the beginning. Guess what?
It makes me wonder, I don't know if there was ever a sequel to the book, but it makes me wonder if they'll make a sequel for the movie. Because I know, there's some book adaptations that get the movie sequel that the book never got. Like Jurassic Park. Not a good example, because Jurassic Park 3 is terrible.
Oh, God. Wait, Jurassic Park was a book?
Yeah, 1 and 2.
No shit. Never knew that. Yeah, me personally, I like the film. I liked it a lot. I like it. I'm a zombie fan, and lately, if people know me, I've been kind of saying, I'm sick of zombies. this movie made me remember why I enjoy him. I don't want to see an assload of zombie movies come out of the butt now, which I already saw one news thing saying Schwarzenegger's going to be in a zombie film. Which,
yeah, I did see that too.
Yay. But, this one was really good. I liked how Brad Pitt was. I thought he really wasn't anything extraordinary in the movie.
No.
He was just kind of the person we're following. And you know what? I honestly have to say, though, I like the beginning of this movie way more for the sole fact of Brad Pitt is trying to get his family out of town, and just him with a bunch of children and his wife is way more tense than him with, like, soldiers.
Oh, yeah. This movie was tense. It was real tense.
In the beginning, it was really tense. Towards the end, I was like, okay, I know they're not going to just have him get eaten. But I was, in the beginning, I was fearful for his family because I was like, I don't know what's going to happen to these people.
Especially, like, throughout the movie when they show his older daughter just, like, sleeping all the time. I was like, oh, God, did she, like, get infected or something?
Oh, yeah.
And her asthma was making it go really, really slow.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, like, it's, and, like, there was no, like, build-up or anything. It was just zombie flood. There it is.
Oh, yeah. It just, they're just like, there's shit's going on in the news. Let's just go to work. Shit's going down. And then shit just went down. And I liked how he figured out how long it takes for them to become a zombie.
Yeah.
It was just, that was perfect. And, I was glad they didn't just make, because they were kind of in the beginning, they were talking about how Brad Pitt had a job where he had to travel around the world. It's like, oh, is he going to be some, like, secret badass? No. He wasn't.
Yeah, he was a UN investigator?
Yeah, UN investigator. We weren't special forces or anything. He traveled the world. He knew what to do. He knew how to handle himself and how to survive, but he was no one...
He wasn't overpowered.
Yeah, he wasn't like what Arnold Schwarzenegger, I figure, is going to be when he does his.
The Terminator with zombies?
Yeah, honestly. Just two shotguns in hand, bam, bam, bam.
A Gatling gun.
I know, honestly. I do like the body count in the zombies in this movie, though. Like most zombie movies, you get maybe like 100 or so.
This one was in the millions.
Oh god, they were just slaughtering them, and that just shows how horrible they were. And honestly, even though they would shoot them in the head, weren't actually dead either. They weren't down for the count.
You can't, even like when they show those ones in the South Korean hospital that they burned up. Mm-hmm. The fingers were the fingers that didn't get burned were still alive.
I know. I thought that was crazy. I was like, how do you kill these things? The only way to stop them is by burning them. All right. What else you guys want to add to this?
I was talking about how intense that flood scene was because this was in New York, right? It looked like Manhattan at least.
You talk about the beginning?
Yeah.
Oh, beginning they're in Pittsburgh.
Big difference. But just the beginning, the amount of people in the streets, and you don't know who is a zombie or not.
Oh, I know.
That's just crazy.
Oh, yeah, like you can hear this, but everything's running around. You don't know what's going on.
I know, everybody's running. They do tout a little bit on not trusting humans in the beginning, but they kind of throw that way out the window because everyone else is really kind of nice. After that, you don't see any, the typical apocalypse asshole who wants to, kill everybody or do whatever.
The people that go crazy.
Yeah. What were we gonna end, Nick?
I was gonna say, I did think it was interesting how fast they show maybe 10 zombies able to climb over the wall initially in Israel, and then instantly everything goes to hell because the infection spreads so fast.
Honestly, it shows, and I agree with you when you say it shows how the military is having a hard time containing this when it spreads that quickly.
Yeah.
You can't just sit there with a machine gun fuck all the
Yeah, because not very many of them were able to get over that wall.
Oh,
but
I know.
Within 5 minutes, the entire city was overrun with them.
Oh, I know, and it's just. Yeah, it just shows how,
And I like how, they don't show directly, but they do hint that the virus was evolving.
Oh, yeah.
Initially they mentioned how it took about 10 minutes for the infection to spread, which is typical zombie movie lore. Mm-hmm. But then, by the time Brad Pitt comes in the scene, 12 seconds is all it takes for you to become infected.
It was 12 seconds. And then and it's very specific because even... the very beginning, so this isn't spoiling at all. He gets some of the blood in his mouth,
which a lot of zombie movies show is
any liquid, any form of it touching.
If it gets in basically if it gets into your bloodstream.
Yeah, this one is very you have to be bitten, and there is a way to stop it too. from as he showed later on in the film. I will not tell. But, yeah, I don't know what else to add to this movie, besides, it is a fun zombie movie. It's not, it's gonna do well in the box office, I think. I don't think it's gonna do, like, Man of Steel or Iron Man 3 good.
Yeah.
But I think it's gonna do very well. For PG-13 zombie film.
It took the zombie film in a different direction. Like, most of them are the horror movies. This one was more of just an action thriller.
You know what I also love about this, though? It didn't rip off Romero that much. Like, hardly at all. Except for the whole shoot him in the head. That's the only thing it took. They weren't the shambling ones. They weren't like, oh, you have to be held up somewhere. There was none of that.
No.
It was, it even showed that if you hold up somewhere, you will die. There is no question about it.
And then you will be a zombie within 12 seconds.
12 seconds, which honestly, I mean, if at least gives you 12 seconds to be like, oh, fuck. Yeah. And it looks painful turning into a zombie, too. It didn't look like, oh, you just wake up like I always do. No, they're thrashing around and bones are breaking.
Yeah, because in most other zombie movies, it's just twitch, die, take a deep breath, and then you're a zombie.
Yeah.
This one, no, it was like, you never really die. You're just wriggling in pain until you wake up again.
And one more thing I want to add is, this is probably, being a PG-13 zombie film, one of the most suspenseful zombie films I've ever seen. It actually made me jump it a couple times because they would have just like, zombie, ah!
Oh, yeah, especially seeing in 3D. It was like,
I know. It would, I don't know, did you jump it all, Nikki G?
I did a little bit. Certain parts.
The scene in the stairwell, that one made me jump.
Okay, the stairwell one really got me. There was one scene in the stairwell where, like, basically peekaboo with the zombie. He got me. But, for the most part, it wasn't, zombie movies actually scary, but this one was probably one of the most epic.
Oh, but most zombie movies aren't scary because most zombie movies are just a horde of drunken retards.
True. And also, this is probably one of the highest budget zombie movies we've seen.
Oh yeah, because they were just most zombie movies, like you said, have like 100 or so zombies. This one had millions.
Well, I mean, granted, we're talking about CG zombies for the most part. Most of them are CG, except for the ones they get up close with, of course.
Yeah, of course. Like when they're scaling the wall, as you've seen in like trailers and stuff. Yeah. That's all CG. You know this, like, the amount of zombies reminded me a lot of a Dead Rising game.
That would be
and he made his own weapons and modified.
The only thing and he even makes his own protection. The only thing is, though, they do cut away from all the violence. There's even, they even show one guy get bit, and then they cut back to him. There's not even a mark on him. So, let's get into final ratings. What would you rate this, Nikki G?
I'd probably give it a B-.
B-? That's really fair.
It's definitely a fun film.
Nick, what would you get?
I'd probably just give it a straight B.
I'm gonna be with you guys. I'm gonna give it a solid B. It is worth seeing in the film. It wasn't something I came out of saying, oh my god, I love that movie. But it was good. I enjoyed it. I had fun. So I'm gonna give it I say it's a solid B movie.
It's worth a few watches.
Yeah. I mean, if you pay full price ticket, you won't regret it. You'll be like, oh, that was fun. Unless you're one of those people who just hates zombies or whatever, then why the fuck would you see it in the beginning with?
Yeah.
Alright, so...
All I gotta say is, this movie's gonna affect me deeply because if I ever see anyone peel over and have a seizure, I'm just gonna think they're a zombie and I'm gonna have to kill them.
I know. Next time we're gonna be at Nikki G's, court hearing. Officer, okay, we've had people eating flesh before, and this one fell over and started twitching around. I wanted to make sure...
Have you heard of the 10th guy rule in Israel? I'm the 10th man! I'm the 10th man!
Oh, that would be awesome. Alright, let's get into the top 5 box office. Alright. So, for the most part, the top 5 is pretty good. This is actually an up-to-date top 5, people. This isn't like, our video game one where we have to look at one like 3 weeks behind because they're slow at getting us the top 5 for whatever reasons. So, let me ask you two, which one do you think is going to be number 5? I'm going to ask Nikki G which one he thinks is going to be number 5 because Nick can look at the screen right there.
Hi.
I have no idea.
The Purge. Did you see that movie?
Yes.
Alright, quick. We didn't really get to talk about The Purge. What'd you think of The Purge? Just quick.
I like The Purge.
You liked it?
I had some problems with it, but I didn't think it was a didn't think it was, a terrible movie like some people come out saying.
Hey, I'm not saying it was terrible.
Well, no,
I'm just saying that it lacked a lot of story element.
I thought it was, I don't think that movie was trying to be a super in-depth story. It was just, it's that typical survival horror movie, trapped in a house, psychotics trying to kill you. I thought, and it had a decent premise. I do admit some people have been kind of annoyed because the premise was all it had going for it, and I kind of agree. The premise really was all it had going for it, and that's, you saw this being paraded everywhere, like, what would you do if you had one day you didn't have to follow any laws?
Loitering, man!
I know. I did put that in my review. I would loiter. You gotta move. Not tonight. Yeah, I like the movie. I liked it a hell of a lot more than number 4. God damn you people. God damn you people.
It's all the bros.
They don't stop. I've been, every week we do the show, I have to say, what the fuck is so great about Fast and Furious 6?
Or any Fast and Furious.
Okay, I understand people liking it, but for fuck's sake, I thought they would have all seen it. After Earth came out a week after that, that's already at number 9.
It's also an M. Night Shyamalan movie.
I know, I was there. I have to admit, I liked After Earth slightly more than this. I did not like this movie, and I do not get why it's this high up. Did either of you two see it?
Oh, God, no.
God, no, and...
No, I'm not into car porn.
Yeah, me neither. And I would think I was the only one in the theater that wasn't rubbing his nuts and or gooch. So I was just kind of sitting there like, you guys mind? Something hits my hat, like, oh, God! Ran out of the theater.
And
what?
You said nuts and or gooch.
And or cooch.
Still. And.
You never know. I'm not prejudiced. Yeah, basically.
Or just someone in there with their flashlight. Yes.
You never know. Maybe
instead of using it, they're just like, yes.
Yes. If I had a girlfriend, she would love this movie too. God damn it. I mean, seriously, if you really like cars that much...
Just go, stick your dick in the gas can.
I don't know about you guys. I like driving my car. You know what I do when I want to drive my car? I go drive my car. I don't have to see other people do things that cars can't fucking do. Believe me, this movie has a scene in it that makes no fucking sense. And I know it's a Fast and Furious movie, but don't... I would forgive a Transformers movie more than I will ever forgive one of these. I can forgive stupid movies, but this is beyond... This is beyond redemption.
With the 28-mile...
Oh, no, seriously, it is that long. Towards the end of the movie, they have a long runway, and it's the longest runway ever known to men.
Like Scott said, he looked up the math for it, and with the speed they were going and the time that the scene took, that runway would have been about 28 miles long. That's longer than Colfax.
I know. I was like, that is the longest runway ever.
And the longest runway in the world is 3 miles.
Yeah. So, yeah, everyone's been pointing out the flaws in this movie. I had the biggest problem with the plot being it was literally, without a doubt, a soap opera themed plot. I'm serious. They are like, oh, I thought you were dead. Oh, she has amnesia. Dun, dun, dun.
Spoiler alert. God.
I don't know. You can't spoil these movies. And I also had to say, more harpoon guns than any Fast and Furious movie needs to have.
So 1?
No. Literally about 5.
1 is more than any
movie needs to have. The only harpoon gun you need is if you're watching a Jaws movie. Or Jaws. Jaws, Deep Blue Sea.
Oh, because they actually have a harpoon gun in Deep Blue Sea.
One of the Jawses they probably do. So, yeah.
If you're hunting sharks, basically.
Yeah, if you're hunting sharks or whales, I don't care. Pick one.
Fish. We'll narrow it down to
if you're in the ocean.
Sea life.
Yeah, but if you're driving cars and there's no ocean near, yeah. And also cars I'm bringing back the tank card. Tanks can run over cars with, minimal effort. I mean, it's a tank. It's more than any car will ever be. But anyways, number 3. Now You See Me. Did not see that. So
I will say it looks interesting.
It looked interesting enough. I actually would have rather seen that probably than The Purge that night. But yeah. Guess what? Did you see that, Sneaky G?
No, I did not.
So Now You See Me did not get seen. So, yeah.
There you have it. We'll have a review up in a few months when it comes out on DVD.
Basically, we will. Yeah, when it comes out on DVD, we'll talk about that. And This Is the End, another movie I did not see because I didn't feel like seeing it. I'm limiting myself to one movie a week because I have my reasons. I don't need to explain them to you people. Yeah.
Plus, This Is the End has a cast full of people you hate.
I don't hate James Franco.
And what about everyone else? Seth Rogen.
I like the black guy that's in it. I don't know his name.
Craig Robinson.
Yeah, I like him. I thought he was funny in Hot Tub Time Machine.
Oh, yeah. But, Seth MacFarlane, Jonah Hill.
Seth MacFarlane's in it?
Or not Seth.
Oh,
Seth Rogen. Whatever.
I was like, Seth Rogen.
Too many Seths.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of Seths. Yeah, this movie, I have to admit, though, the trailer made me laugh. The trailer did make me laugh.
I do enjoy movies where actors play themselves.
Oh, yeah. Everybody plays themselves.
Especially comedy movies, because that just means they're going to make fun of themselves.
Oh, yeah. They're making fun of themselves. They're making fun of people who just make little cameos. I mean, hell, one of my favorite ones is saying, Hermione Granger just took all her shit. That made me laugh. It was funny. Honestly, it's like one of those movies that it basically told all its jokes in the trailer.
Yeah, I feel that way too.
It looked like one of those movies that wasn't not going to have anything to keep me going except for like seeing all those jokes before, and I'm just going to be sitting there and like, yeah, I already know it.
Yeah, I feel like Redbox it.
I think it would be a fun Redbox. I have not really seen any reviews on this personally, so I don't know how it's going to be, but we will see. We will see. Last number one. All I'm gonna do is I wouldn't say A-Team. I was gonna go with dun 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 dun. They don't play that song at all. Boom 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 boom. Nick and I have already talked about this movie, but you know what? I'll talk about it some more. Man of fucking Steel. I love the ever-living shit about this movie.
I will say I was watching a video last night of just an interview with the cast, and they're talking about the first time he flies, and he just drops Lois off and flies away, and all the military guys are there. And the first time he just takes off.
Yeah.
On set, all he does is just look up and breathe, and half the people look up, and the other half is like, "What is he doing?" So I guess if you actually look in the movie, most people are if the camera looks at them, they're just like. Just staring straight ahead instead of watching him fly away.
I know. What's he doing? I think it's one. I kind of want to make this statement now, guys. Both of you, tell me if you agree with me. Nolan and David S. Goyer are the only ones allowed to do comic book movies now, and Joss Whedon.
Joss.
Yes.
Joss. Yes.
I don't know. I think. Well, yeah. I was gonna say Sam Raimi, but
Sam Raimi. No, I didn't like his Spiderman.
I like the first two. Not as good as the Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, I like the Amazing Spider-Man more, and actually I just thought of a better news story than one we got, so bloop, you're gone. Yeah, I like the ever-living shit out of this movie. This is the only Superman that exists now in my mind.
Yes.
Sorry, Christopher Reeves, you're a cool man, but
Superman 2 used to be my favorite Superman.
Yeah.
But this one just blew it straight out of the water.
I was like, granted, Superman 2 didn't have any competition. I now say game developers. I know we don't talk about video games on this show, but game developers. They made a good Superman movie. They've made good Batman movies and games. I want my good Superman game now. I'm not asking. You will make this happen. I don't know how. It's a license to print money. I don't know how you haven't done it yet. But I do, people have their issues with this movie for blank knows reasons why. They're like, there's too much action.
Because they hate America, that's why.
Honestly. I was like, this movie is perfect, or damn near perfect. I don't Nikki G, we didn't hear from you what you thought about this movie, so, yeah. What did you think about this movie?
Well, kind of how we were talking about, what was it, 2 days ago? I really do. I just love the living hell out of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably,
you said that 2 years ago?
Nope, 2 days ago.
2 days ago. Yes, I'm from the future.
2 years ago, he's just sitting there like, you know that trailer we saw, Man of Steel? The thing that just said Man of Steel? Yeah, I love that movie.
But, I mean, I don't really have any problems with it. I mean, there's a lot of controversy over some of the stuff in this movie, but I've never had a problem with it, and I feel it pretty much did go towards his character. It made it more two-dimensional. Because I've heard some complaints of, before this movie, of Superman just being two-dimensional and just being that Boy Scout and stuff, and, never doing
Superman 3
much wrong.
When he gets drunk.
People who are being so nitpicky about this goddamn movie, I was like, okay, even if you don't think the movie was that great, I can give you that. But you have to say it's the best Superman film. There is nothing cheesy in this movie that I can think of. There's nothing where, he throws his S at Zod and his crew.
I also like how, Clark Kent isn't just a bumbling idiot like he is in the older
Superman.
Superman.
Oh, no, he's not like, the whole fucking time until he's Superman, then I'm confident.
Yeah, no, he's just a classy dude.
Yeah, no. I do have to admit, though, in the end, when he puts on the glasses and Clark Kent, those people saw what Superman looked like up close. I'm like,
but that's Superman. I know,
it's so dumb, though. I hate that. It's the only thing I hate about his characters. Glasses. I'm incognito.
Although I do like how, they had Lois know his secret identity right from the get-go.
Oh, yeah, there's no dicking around, be like, oh, who are you? Yeah, I'm glad. And then there was nothing of, I kind of do wish they would use that line of, you got me, who's got you? I'm sorry, I just wanted that line just one time, but...
I will say, one thing I did like about this movie, and obviously we were talking, but, it was enjoyable for people who don't know a lot about Superman, but it was more enjoyable if you did know about Superman, because, his whole Smallville backstory. They just slightly reference a bunch of people from his, origin, but they don't bring, Lana Lang and, what's the fat ginger kid?
Fat ginger kid, yeah.
If you know who they are, then you're like, but if you don't, then you're like, oh.
If you don't, you call him the fat ginger kid.
His name's slipping my mind right now.
Yeah, I loved the movie. I loved every actor in it. I thought they all did a great job, and honestly... that new guy who's playing Superman, his name's...
Henry Cavill.
Yeah. That guy's gonna go places now. He was in The Mortals, and that's the only movie I can think of him being in.
He was in Count of the Monte Cristo as Albert. That's when he was 19.
Oh.
I know he's replacing Tom Cruise in some movie like Uncle or something.
That's good. I'm glad he's replacing Tom Cruise. Anytime you say replacing Tom Cruise, that's a good sign. Yeah, that's our top 5. Alright, next one is now time for a little bit of news. First, I have 2 things wrong with this. Alright, I'm just going to read you the head title, or the title of this article right now, there, Nick, and I'm going to let you decide what you think of it. Ashton Kutcher playing Steve Jobs in new trailer. Yep, he just had a stroke. I thought 2 things wrong with this. 1, you guys can be Apple whores all you want and jerk off to how great you think Steve Jobs is. Honestly, I don't think he's any more different than any other entrepreneur. Entrepreneur, thank you. He's no different than any other. He actually allowed his company to abuse third world countries just like every other capitalist big shot. So I don't think he's that great. Secondly, his life is probably not interesting enough to make a decent movie off of unless they Hollywood it the fuck up. Thirdly, Ashton Kutcher, really? Out of everybody. I'm sorry, they don't even look remotely similar.
And fourthly, Ashton Kutcher?
Yeah, Ashton Kutcher. The guy from That 70s Show and all his other movies where he plays a fucking moron is now going to play one of the smartest guys around. Or what that was around. The guy... I don't get it. I don't know who the hell, how about Ashton Kutcher? Well, we could get somebody smart... No, we're fine. We'll get Ash. He's young, he's hot, he's on 2.5 Men. No, that's somewhere to die.
I don't know, maybe they'll make it work. I mean, they want Tom Hardy to play Elton John.
I know, I heard, yeah, I remember that. I don't know about that either. Honestly, prove me wrong, guys. That's all I can say, Hollywood. You proved me wrong about the Facebook movie, because I was one of those guys when I heard about the Facebook movie. I was like, oh yeah, that's gonna go well. When I actually saw it, I was like, well, that was actually a really interesting story. So, make it interesting. That's all I could say. Now time for some good news. You know, we got some shitty news there with Steve Jobs getting a movie and all that bullshit, but how about the new Spider-Man movie? You want to know what they're planning on doing?
Do tell. Maybe I've already heard.
It's gonna be what is it? The Six. I'm forgetting the name already now.
The Serpent Society?
No, not Serpent Society. No. There's the 6 villains. Hold on.
God, if only we had something.
I know. If only it was
vast source of information to tell us.
Sinister Six. Found it. Yep. The Sinister Six. You know. I don't know if do you know that Spider-Man?
It sounds familiar. Is
okay,
that
basically
with the time abilities? And
No. Okay, it's basically 6 villains get together to take Spider-Man down. The 6th villain consists of, off the top of my head, it was Green Goblin, Electro, Rhino, the Vulture, I want to say Doc Ock, and someone else.
I don't know, that feels like too much to put into one movie.
They already have casted the Vulture, Rhino, and Electro. They're on their way to making and the Green Goblin.
Really?
Yeah, they already have 4 of the 6 cast.
Who's playing the Green Goblin?
Oh fuck! Off the top of my head, I don't know. I heard the name last night, and I will IMDb this. But quick, what do you guys think of that? If they're gonna have 6 villains in one Spider-Man film,
if they do it right, then it could work.
I mean, they had 3 in the 3, and they had a hard time with that. So I am gonna be a little.
I do like how they're making his new suit the one from the comics.
Are they making it like the Ultimates? Or?
Yeah, that's one.
So I wonder if they changed his suit, though. You know, I actually liked his Amazing Spider-Man suit, to be honest. Alright, so they got... Alright, I'm just going to read off the cast. They got, Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, of course. Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy. They have Dan DeHaan as Harry Osborn, which...
That's the dude from Chronicle.
A good dude from Chronicle. Jamie Foxx as Electro. Paul Giamatti as the Rhino. Somehow...
Uncle Ben? What the...
Yeah. Somehow Dennis Leary's coming back. Christopher Cooper, the old man from the Bourne movies or the Bourne Identity movie. Yeah, he's gonna be Norman.
BJ Novak is gonna be in this.
Yeah, I wonder who he's gonna be. So yeah, I'm trying to see who the hell's playing as the Vulture. So yeah, he's gonna be Green Goblin or Norman Osborn. They haven't said as Green
Flash
Goblin.
Thompson's coming back.
Rumored, maybe. Phil Watson, friend of the family. I know this is great radio. Me looking through this. I don't know. They said they had that, or they're casting the Vulture right now. Maybe they were casting the Vulture, but still, they got 3 of the Sinister Six.
I do think it's funny that the whole big thing they had with this movie first was that they were going to bring in MJ, and they just completely scratched that.
Yeah. I'm still thinking though, if they bring in the Green Goblin, which I'm not 100% if I want to see another Green Goblin. Because Spider-Man has a vast amount of characters.
He does. And I will admit, what's his name?
Willem Dafoe.
He did a great Green Goblin.
I like his Green Goblin. Some people think he overplayed it, but I like his Green Goblin a lot. I think he did a right amount because he really seemed crazy. I kind of want them to maybe... I don't know how I'd want them to kill Gwen Stacy because Green Goblin is the one that kills her. Or, in a way, Spider-Man kills her, but Green Goblin's the one that institutes it all.
Like I said... as you saw from that, they don't have... Because they already had Mary Jane cast and everything.
Oh, did they?
And they dropped it out, last week.
I kind of wonder what they're going to do. I'm really curious on what this movie's going to do. I liked the other Spider-Man movie.
Maybe that's what... They'll just wait, kill her off at the end, and that's when Spider-Man... his call to arms to take action to stop all of them. Mm-hmm. And then next movie... Because they've already signed up for Spider-Man 3 and 4.
Oh, I know. Sony's got that shit pimped out.
Yeah. Next movie, that's when they'll bring in Mary Jane.
Well, that's a good thing about them having all these villains right now. If they introduce all these villains into this film, they can maybe beat up Rhino or whatever, kick his ass out, or maybe beat up Rhino and so-and-so.
And have that comic where, the comic book feeling where he doesn't win, he just...
Well, yeah, or maybe he takes out one of them. Maybe he takes out 2, because if they do the Sinister Six, and he takes out 2, or 3 even, we'll just be really generous and say he took out 3 of them. He still can have 3 other villains that you've already been introduced to. We don't need their backstory in the next film, or the next couple films. He can have a central villain. We can have, if they bring back, the Green Goblin, we can have the Green Goblin be the central villain for the next 3 movies, while he takes on the others, and Harry Osborn's just kind of making all of this happen.
Which makes me wonder if they'll do what the newer comics arc did and have Harry become Venom.
Harry become Venom?
Yeah.
Oh, that might be. I would like them to see them do a good Venom, personally. That or do a Venom in one movie, Carnage in the next. That's what I know every Spider-Man nerd wants this shit.
Yeah,
but
because I know, like last time they introduced Venom, I personally think what they should have done is have him fighting the first 2 villains, like in that movie, introduce the black suit, have him fight then, and then bring Venom in the next time.
Yeah, that's what I hope they do. I mean, that's with them introducing the Sinister Six, though, I'm liking how they're introducing characters we have not seen adapted to movie, like the Rhino, like the Vulture, like Electro. I'm forgetting who else is in the Sinister Six between Doc Ock, and there's one other asshole in there, and I don't know his fucking name. I think it's Hammerhead.
Really?
Them, do you know who Hammerhead is, Nikki G?
No. I would have guessed Mysterio, whatever the one guy's
maybe it
name
is
is.
also Mysterio. I'm trying to remember who's all in the Sinister Six. I thought it was Hammerhead who had or maybe it was the Chameleon, who is also would be a great Spider-Man villain because he's not the traditional brawler.
Yeah, he's
and
stealth.
A little spoiler alert right now for Amazing Spider-Man 1, but they can bring back the Lizard too.
They can
at any time, which I also think is awesome. Because, being able to bring back the Lizard is something that, just seems like a good idea.
It seems comic booky.
Yeah, bringing him back for whatever, or having, I don't know. I really don't know what they're going to do. There was like that what I was really scared for about the sequel to Spider-Man, though, is I played the Amazing Spider-Man game, and in the game, well, of course, they actually had the Rhino and stuff, but the way they did it is, how the Lizard is kind of a mutant-type creature? They were doing all his villains were mutant-type creatures. So he was fighting Vermin, who was a mutant. He was fighting Scorpion. Everyone knows the backstory of Scorpion, how Jonah Jameson betrayed him and all that.
Yeah.
No, he was a mutant in that one, and I didn't like that. I was hoping to God they weren't going to do that with this one, but I don't think they did. I don't think they were going to. Let's put it that way. I think.
Come to think of it, the way that the first one ended with, mysterious, not maybe possibly Electro.
Well, now it is Electro, of course.
Mysterious man coming in and asking the Lizard, what did he tell him? And, so that there's some shady organization going on.
Oh, yeah, and Oscorp is at the head of it because, maybe Electro's working for Norman Osborn. We don't know what's going on.
But, like I said, makes sense, just based on that ending. The Sinister Six makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
And don't need to have a backstory. Just say that all these villains are already there. They've been around. They've just been working in the shadows, and now there's someone who's able to stop them.
Yeah, maybe they had whatever. You might be able to maybe just brief on their backstory. You don't need a whole movie about them like you did with Lizard. We already know Electro is there.
Yeah. We
might get a backstory on Rhino. We don't know. But otherwise, I'm actually excited for the Spider-Man movie. I was excited for the last one. I'm excited for any comic book movie that comes out. I'm going to be honest.
Because especially after the new trailer of Wolverine we saw today, showing the Silver Samurai armor, I was just like,
oh yeah, the Silver Samurai armor being a giant robot samurai basically, instead of just some dude that's called the Silver Samurai. Yeah. And I already know who the hell the Silver Samurai is. It was the asshole samurai from The Last Samurai. I don't know who that guy's name is, but yeah.
I haven't seen that movie in forever.
Oh, I know. I haven't seen that movie in a while either. I just recognized him. Anyways, let's go into, I guess, a couple movie reviews since we only got 15 minutes left.
I do got a question.
Oh, what's your question?
Okay, what's the origin behind Rhino? Because I saw some of the set pictures, and I only got clips of them. I haven't really gone into the new ones, and it looks like he's wearing kind of exoskeleton mech suit or something.
Yeah.
Similar to that. I mean, he wasn't a mech suit or anything. His origin, if I remember correctly, is basically the mob kind of threw him in it. He's like some Russian big guy. He was a big Russian guy, which Paul Giamatti does not fit that description at all. But he was a big Russian guy. They put him on this suit, and yeah, I don't really know why he wanted it. I think he was just a mob guy, really. I'm not 100% on his background.
He's not a very interesting villain, so...
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't very smart, and he wasn't very interesting, which are both something that I would not picture Paul Giamatti for. Because Paul Giamatti, And honestly, probably make a better Vulture than
I was
he
gonna
would.
say he seems like he could just go Vulture, just.
Yeah, I know he would be a better Vulture, and he kind of has that kind of like kind of dickwad feel to him. Not the big brooding like. Mrr. I haven't seen any pictures on it, so maybe they might change up the backstory of the Rhino a little bit, make him like a scientist who makes a mech suit of a rhino, and then that would be interesting. That'd be something I haven't seen because that's a lot better than some dude who dresses up like a rhino and just starts running around. I have to admit. And granted, his suit is pretty, strong, but everyone has their own Spider-Man villains they like, so.
But no one likes Rhino.
Yeah, Sam Raimi liked the Vulture, so you never know. I understand liking Sandman, but I don't know. They say there's rumors that the Vulture's going to be in it. Whether or not they're going to do the Sinister Six, or maybe they might just do it like a Sinister Four or whatever, we don't know. It's pretty hush-hush right now. Everyone has we're having our superhero fill right now of the Thor and Wolverine movie, and then next year of, Captain America and the X-Men movie, and then Avengers too, and, all that fun stuff.
Avengers 2 comes out in 15, though.
Oh, really? I haven't seen anything on the new Hulk, if they would be doing a new Hulk.
I don't know if they are.
I don't know if people just got done with Hulk, and they're like, Hulk's not a very interesting character. Because I don't like the Hulk that much. I mean, I like him when he's with the Avengers and stuff, but as a standalone character, he kind of has one dimension of, I don't like being angry. I'm angry!
I will say, I do like Red Hulk.
Red Hulk?
Yeah. General Thunderbolt Ross.
Oh. I heard that storyline, and I thought it was kind of meh.
I just like the fact that, and obviously I think it's kind of silly, but the fact he gets so angry he bursts into flames.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he can fly.
Yeah. Alright. Yeah, we're really going on our comic book show right now, just talking about comics the whole time, or comic book movies, so it can be mixed. Alright, so let's go into a couple reviews. I will do a review of the prequel to The Thing. Why? Because
also called The Thing.
I know, they're real sweethearts about that. Like, okay, so we got a prequel to The Thing. What are we going to call it? The Thing. Not confusing at all, is it? So when you tell people, what'd you watch? The Thing. The prequel, or the original, or The Thing from Another World, which is the original, that really kind of sucks. To my knowledge, I've never seen it. But, yeah, the prequel to The Thing. If you have not seen the original Thing, you will not think this movie is as great as I do. If you have seen the original Thing, you will be a giddy little schoolgirl when you watch this movie. Because you'll be like, hey, I remember that. Honestly, this movie shows, I appreciate the original for the practical effects, and I think the original has amazing practical effects. But for fucked up effects, this one has it. Because they do all CG.
Right.
And it looks pretty fucked up. You're just sitting there like, oh, that's so weird. That's so creepy. It's a lot of CG. The characters, I like how they were doing, like how they were, What I really liked about The Thing, and it's the same thing I liked about the original, is no one knows. Everyone kind of starts. This one has one big flaw, though, because how no one knows who The Thing is, so they're just like, they're kind of questioning each other. They really don't do that as often in this one. In the original, everyone is arguing with each other like, oh, you're the bastard, you're the bastard. This one, they're just like, we're going to listen to her. A couple people argue, but, the dude with the flamethrower is going to listen to her anyway, so whatever. I do like how they find one way of figuring out what the Thing is, of like, oh, if you have fillings in, you're, good. I like the one quote from that one guy. I don't know his name because he's a small actor anyways. He's just like, I'm gonna get killed because I have good hygiene. And I'm just like, I'm just like, yeah, that is a good point because I don't have any fillings, so I'd be screwed too. I'd have to be like, I hope I have a piece of metal in me or something, It's an overall good movie. I liked it. It wasn't, people who are diehard fans of the series are going to be like, oh, fuck that movie, but I give it I think it's a solid C film. So, that's what I'm going to give it. Alright, Nick.
Alright, my movie is going to be Hansel and Gretel, Witch Hunters.
Witch Hunters. Not to be mistaken with the shitty one that's on Netflix right now, correct?
Right. This is basically a movie starring Jeremy Renner and Gemma something.
Gemma, she's Russian, isn't she?
I don't know.
Whatever.
Anyway, not important. She plays Gretel. She's Gretel. We'll just call her Gretel. Yeah. Anyway.
Jeremy Renner and Gretel.
Yeah, and they play, Hansel and Gretel, grown up after surviving the encounter that everyone knows in the house made of candy and cookies with the witch. Mm-hmm. And they kill that witch, grow up to be witch hunters. And basically in the movie they're trying to find 12 missing children from an evil witch played by Jean Grey. I say that because I know her name, but I don't know how to pronounce it.
I don't blame you. And everyone knows when you say Jean Grey who the hell you're talking about.
I don't feel like pronouncing it like Famke.
Yeah, no, that's...
Anyway.
Get an American name. No.
So they're on the hunt of the evil witch, stopping her sisterhood of witches. And, just being overall badasses. Because it's Jeremy Renner.
Yeah. It was sarcastic badasses. On top of that.
Yeah. It's a decent movie. It is worth a watch, not, top quality or anything.
So don't buy it. Is what I'm
saying. It's a rental.
Okay. Like Redbox rental where it's $1.20. Yeah. That kind of annoys the fuck out of me.
Anyway, I'd say this is a good C+ movie.
C+ movie? That's good. Alright. Nikki G, what movie you got?
Basically we kind of already just talked about this one. Which is we kind of talked about both movies a little bit, but I'll bring up the points for The Purge, like my dislikes about it. Which I mean, for the most part, I like the movie pretty well. I mean, the acting was good. I wouldn't really trade any actor for another. I mean, I definitely like Ethan Hawke's performance.
Even for a rock.
Oh yeah. I do have to say though, I know why he keeps that daughter around. Oh man, she was hot. Like she was fucking hot.
Especially in the Catholic schoolgirl outfit.
Oh, I know.
What did you guys think about the performance of those, I guess you'd call them kind of villains? Or...
Oh, I loved them.
Okay, most of them were pretty generic and they didn't do anything, but the main one, he came off with a calm creepiness.
With his big mouth.
Oh yeah, with his big mouth and just smiling. He was just so goddamn polite. It would have been one of those things where, give him he said please. He said please. And just...
Yeah.
He just wants to kill somebody. Just let him.
Yeah, especially because it's just creepy as hell.
Yeah.
Like he reminded me a lot of a Joker like character, but like a Nolan Joker.
No, I wouldn't say like a Nolan Joker because the Nolan Joker was truly like fucking he'd just blow up the house.
Well, I'm just like the way he acted and looked at he was calm and calculating.
Yeah, he reminded me. He did have that character type where they had that. I do have to say it's been long enough. I can point out this flaw. I think. Okay, so they break into the house by ripping off the doors with a truck. Where the fuck do they hook on those things? Because they show the doors, big old piece of metal, nowhere to hook onto.
It was a magnet, a really powerful magnet.
And one of our hosts, who hasn't been on in a long time, Scott, had a truck very similar to that. And he's like, yeah, my truck could not do what that truck did. It would just rip off my tail.
And yeah.
So
that's basically what happened in Thor.
Yeah, basically. That's exactly what would happen. Anyways, continue though, Nick G. We're kind of just stomping on your review here.
No, it's fine. I was gonna say, I kind of do agree with Nick there. I did kind of get a Joker feel off the main kind of evil guy there. Mm-hmm. But the other point was, I kind of thought it was a little quick for a thriller. I thought it kind of could have slowed it down just a little bit more.
Especially the thrilling parts at the end when they finally get in.
Exactly.
It does feel the rush at the end. I agree with that. It does feel like, they spend all this time looking for him, and I like that. I like the suspense of, they're going to get in. Once they're in, it's like a 5-minute scene. They're just in, dead, done. And it's
one of my favorite scenes in the movie, though, I will admit, was when the masked dude is giving Masked Girl a piggyback ride. Uh-huh. They walk around the corner, and Ethan Hawke's just sitting there with a shotgun, like, oh fuck!
Yeah, I liked Ethan Hawke a lot, but I think I'm surprised I even liked this movie, being the audience we saw it with, of course.
I think the little boy in that movie pissed me off so much.
Oh, that little boy. His kids, honestly, Ethan Hawke would have been a perfect, he would have survived the whole thing. Everyone would have been okay. No one would have got hurt. No one would have got their house broken into. Everyone would have been okay. Ethan Hawke wouldn't have had to kill anybody if he didn't have kids.
Oh, yeah.
Because both his kids do something stupid. One, his daughter is, as sexy as she is, I want to see her in more shit. I'm gonna start writing her perverted letters. I was like, yeah.
Start making your own little fanfic.
I know, fanfic. And then he broke into the house and he saw that girl in her skirt.
I will say,
he thought,
very predictable movie, in my opinion.
Yeah. Did you think it was predictable, Nikki G?
Yeah, I mean, that was one of my problems. They kind of used I'll save you at the last second trope too much.
Oh, they use it all the goddamn time.
I'm talking like, her boyfriend, the black guy, the neighbors.
Yeah, he's not going into specifics, but if you know anything about any movie ever, you know exactly what happens. And it really turned into that. The moment they introduced the boyfriend, he's like, I'm going to have a talk with him. Like, no, what happens? The moment they introduced the neighbor saying, well, even though you got rich off us, oh, God damn it. The moment they introduced the black guy and he's hiding, like, well, what's going to happen there? I think they should have really did a horrible thing and just had the black man, he saves the family and all that. But he's like, all right, baby, this is happening. We got another half an hour.
I think it would have been interesting if it took more of a Last House on the Left approach.
Oh, God, that movie was fucking awesome. I also have to say, though, people, if you think we were spoiling this movie at all, like I said, it's pretty predictable. I apologize if you think we spoiled anything. I'm really trying to tiptoe around.
I'm sorry you're too dumb to realize.
Honestly, like I said, I'm trying to tiptoe around all this shit, but for fuck's sakes, literally, if you see it, you're going to know what happens anyways. It's not like you'd be like, well, since they mentioned it, we don't, like, no. Yeah, anyways, you liked the movie though, Nikki G, but you at least you're like me. I liked it, but I understood the flaws.
Exactly. It's just a fun thrill ride.
It's a fun movie.
Not a complicated one, but...
Yeah, not complicated. It's kind of a straight line.
Yeah, it's a really straight line. You know what you're getting into. And all I can say is see it not at night. Because, actually, you could probably see it fine by now, because no one's fucking seeing this movie anymore. So yeah, see it, if you haven't seen it, see it at a matinee. Don't,
Drive down, well, never mind.
Get a big old thing of popcorn, butter it up, and just sit there and just enjoy a movie. That is a popcorn film if I've ever seen one. Literally, there's nothing special about that. There's no deeps. They try to get, I have to admit, they do get a little hipster at the end, trying to be all deep and saying, killing is bad. I was like, dude, we just saw a bunch of people get murdered. Some in some ways where I was like, ho. But, I liked it, but, yeah. Did you have anything else you want to mention, Nikki G?
Final rating?
Well, I mean...
Yeah, final rating. What was your rating for that?
I'd probably give it a C+.
C+? I forget what I rated it, and I don't want to give it an opposite rating of what my written one is, being like, I'll give it a C-. Like, you gave it a C+, and you like, fuck you, I don't remember that shit.
Well, I mean, if you like it, they're already working on number 2.
Are they? Okay, see, no.
Not unless, the fucking Queen Cersei decides to go on a rampage to...
Yeah.
Because...
There's no reason to have a sequel to that movie. It had one premise. We saw that premise, and we're like, oh, that was interesting.
Maybe, unless it takes place from someone else's point of view during another purge.
Unless it turns like gory horror film, where we're seeing from the person who's purging, I can accept that. If we see it the other way, where it kind of turns into almost a snuff film, where we're just watching somebody just slaughter people. Maybe a disgruntled employee. Actually, I can lead in some trippy territory there. Honestly, after that, what movie had some trippy territory after what happened? Rampage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a guy dresses up in a, full armor with a gas mask on and everything, buys all his weapons offline, goes into, well, he didn't go into a theater at least, but Still went into a town, shot everybody up, and got away with it.
Even better, God bless America.
Oh my God. And that's what I think we're going to end that right there.
Well, I was about to say, these are the same guys who made Paranormal Activities and Sinister.
Oh, really?
Well, the movie cost like $3 million to make, and they made like $36 million the first weekend.
I have to admit that though, Nix. Who thought this movie was going to be that big? It was a fairly good blockbuster success. I didn't think that. I thought this movie was going to do traditional horror movies. Just jack shit because it's not released on Halloween.
Yeah.
So I was impressed. Like hell, Nikki G, even your sister was making posts on how much she loved that film before it even came out. I was like, Jesus Christ, really, you? And that's when I got the feeling that a lot of douchebags were going to be in the theater, and I was so correct about that. So ever correct. But yeah, anyways.
Not saying anything bad about your sister, just the crowd she rolls with.
Yeah.
It's fine, I agree.
Yeah. Girl Nick is fine, alright? She's nice and all. She's just you with a wig, but, whatever.
And tattoos.
Unless you got tattoos, Nikki, you haven't seen you in a while.
Nope.
You're like, yep, they're just full on sleeves. And the fingers. But anyways, folks, that's our show. Yeah, we're going on an hour. We talked about new movies. Actually, the movie one's easier to do than our video game one because we can actually see the new movies without charging an arm and a leg every fucking time we want to play something. So, yeah, I'm glad we could talk about all the new stuff coming out, all the new stuff that is out. You heard our thoughts about a couple of older movies that came out in 2011, 12, and 13. We got all 3 years. Like us on Facebook, visit our site at bloodyscreen.weebly.com, and comment, ask us anything, talk to us about anything, and tell us where we can... No, I'm not going to say that. Never mind. No, scratch that off. Tell us what you thought of Man of Steel and The Purge and all those things, and World War Z. Tell us what you think of that stuff. I want to know. Anyways, that is it, everybody. Good night.
Yay.